and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a bit more of a relaxed video. So instead of being in front of a desk, I thought I would just chill on my bed and answer some questions that I've had submitted through Instagram and YouTube. The video that went on today, which is Saturday, if anyone comments any questions on that, I did not use my brain and think that was only going to go on at 4 PM and I'm now filming this at 8 PM. So didn't give a lot of time for that, but I'll reply to those if there's any kind of within the comments of that video. But I did have quite a few, I think there's 11 or 12 sent across, so I'll go through them. But just a little bit about me. So my name is Ashleigh, obviously, from the channel name. I live around Newcastle, kind of, within the northeast. That's the easiest way to put it. I'm a little bit further to the sea than Newcastle, if that makes sense. There's not really much to say. Before lockdown, shall we say, I was quite outgoing. I was quite happy to have a night out on a Saturday, be in somebody else's house, or have friends around my house and have food and drinks and games and whatever. Lockdown has hindered that quite a lot. It's been an absolute hindrance. But I'm hoping that by the time spring comes around, we'll be allowed to see our friends again, and that will continue. At the moment, I am more of a sit in the house, watch Netflix until my eyes bleed kind of person. I think I've seen pretty much everything on Netflix at the moment. I started Mortgage and Marriage yesterday afternoon and I'm now nearly finished it. So it's been about 30 hours since I started that and I'm nearly finished it. That's kind of the Netflix that I'm watching. But I live with my fiance, who is a gamer. We both work full time. I work 40 hours, he works 37.5 every week, full time. He does gaming and Twitch on the side. And then obviously I've got my Instagram and YouTube on the side, as well as a house Instagram home as well. So we get married in October this year. If you've watched the wedding update video, you'll know we were supposed to get married October gone, but due to the restrictions we weren't allowed to do that, so we have had to move it a year. So my sister gets married in June and I am the last sister of 3 to now get married rather than being in the middle. But it's fine. I think it's been a little bit of a blessing in disguise because we have had more time to save up money, which means we haven't had to borrow any money for our wedding. We have 2 cats. That's 4, that's 2. 2 cats, both black, long-haired Maine Coon mixes with Ragdoll. I think I might have explained this before, but my fiance's mum had a cat who had kittens, and that's where we got one of our cats, and then that cat had kittens and that's where we got the other one. So we've got a mother and daughter. So we call them, well, they're technically called Khaleesi and Nagini. I call them Mammy Cat and Babby Cat. They also answer to Shikses. Sometimes they answer to little shits or little bitches. That's generally what they answer to. But generally you just go and they come running, and that's about as much. They don't really know the actual names because they don't ever really get called them. It's always where's the little bitches at, and they appear. We bought our house in November 2017. I like to call it the B&M showroom because pretty much, well, this room is being redecorated since we moved in, so this one isn't so much B&M anymore. But head over to I'll put my house Instagram in the description so you can go have a look at that and see the house generally. From what we first started with, where everything was very white, all white furniture, all white walls, very, very clinical, to the point where now I'm starting to incorporate colour into everything, because I'm just a little bit bored of having to clean everything and redecorate constantly to keep it right. This is the new bed as well. So in my last video you could see the black kind of square in the corner. That's the old bed. It's still there, which is partly why I've chosen to film in here today, just to try and avoid that eye. So I am trying to get rid of that bed, but it did collapse on us and we had to repair it, and I've just not trusted it since. It didn't collapse again, but I just don't trust it. And we got this one, which has got under bed storage, which has just been the absolute saviour. I was saying, we were putting the washing away earlier while we were cleaning laundry, and I was just like, that drawer kindles so much joy, like real Maria Kondo style. I'm like, it kindles joy, because I put all of the bedding in there, so it means I don't have to go around cupboards and drawers throughout the house. It's all in one place. Kindles joy, so much joy. But let's get on to the questions. So the first one I got was, so products I can't live without. Without saying everything, I could probably still live without primer. So from start to finish, so primer could live without. Foundation I couldn't. I do like foundation. I would give up concealer to have foundation. I probably could live without brow products at a push, because my brows are generally there. I don't have to draw them in really, I just kind of shade in the edges. Eyes, I couldn't go, at a push I could go without eyeliner, but I need eyeshadows, I need lashes, I need mascara, I need eye products desperately all of the time. And one cheek product, I would choose bronzer. I could live without blush and highlight if it meant I could have a bronzer. So products I couldn't live without: foundation, mascara, eyeshadow, bronzer. I think that's what I could live with if I had to go bare minimum. Favourite makeup brand? NARS. Without a doubt. I was kind of querying this earlier in the day, and then I opened my drawers and had a look, and I was like, oh yeah, NARS. Definitely. I just love everything from them. If it wasn't for Fenty, it would have been without a question NARS, but Fenty I do very much enjoy as well. Least favourite brand? I forgot who it is. Makeup Forever. I was trying to think of the HD. Makeup Forever, because of the HD range that they brought out. The foundation, the powders. I don't understand why they brought that range out, because I suppose for professional artists, yes, it probably does work on film camera rather than like a clicky camera, because the flashback on those products are horrific. Will not use them. I was also in this video going for this question going to say the Jeffree Star products, but I feel like Jeffree Star Cosmetics is still a good brand. They're still good formulas. It's just a shame that the owner is not in the best light at the moment at all. So I would have said Jeffree Star Cosmetics based on a reputation rather than the actual product, but based on the actual products, Makeup Forever. What was the inspiration to start my channel? During lockdown, I had nothing to do. I was furloughed, I wasn't working. I literally had 11 hours a day. So I'm normally at work for about 8.5 hours. given my travel time, you're talking about 10 hours. I had extra every single day. I filled that with a million things last year. I started walking, exercising, running, to the point where I started, after all of that, so I would wake up, do exercise, do my run, have some lunch, have a shower, and then I would just kind of sit and go, right, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I've still got 4 hours before I would ideally be at home doing anything. So I just started doing random little makeup looks. It had been a long time since I'd really done makeup, since we went in lockdown in March, and I think I started doing the makeup round about the August time, and I was actually posting it to my personal Instagram, and it was my fiance that kind of said, why don't you just create an Instagram page specifically for the makeup? And I thought, yeah, because a lot of the friends and family are probably sick of seeing a random eye pop up on the news feed every now and again. I always call it the scroll page, so I have to think of the actual name for it. So he said, why don't you just start one and just, at least it's some way to dump all of those photos. So I was like, right, okay, fine. So I did that, followed a few people, and then here we are at 300 followers later, and it's still just somewhere for me to sit and go, I want to keep up the practice, to keep up where I was, so that I don't fall out of that practice again. Because if you go right the way to the bottom of my page, the eye looks that I was doing, you can see where I wasn't blending properly, the colours weren't mixing, it was going muddy, and it's because I was just completely out of practice. So I want to keep up with that, and it's just somewhere nice to sit and dump the photos and track your progress. Then my fiance said, well, you're doing half the job, you might as well do the full job and start YouTube whilst you're there. And at the time when I was thinking about starting it, Makeup with Chris and Glowzilla, I'll link their channels in the description below. They advertised they had YouTube channels, and I went and had a look, and I was just like, you know what, like, why not? I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't be worth it. I can sit and say, yeah, I'll not get the views, I'll not get this or that. Does it really matter at the end of the day? If I'm creating content that I want to create and just putting it out there, does it really matter who's watching it or not? Not really. So technically, my fiance that gave me the push for it, and then kind of the reflection of Chris and John's channels, who are Makeup with Chris and Glowzilla, looking at their channels, it just made me think like there isn't a reason not to. Next one is my overall makeup inspirations. The two that immediately come to mind who are like larger people, and they are YouTubers, I will hold my hands up and say they are YouTubers, are two really quite different people in the styles of their makeup. But it is ShanXO, which is Shannon from, I think she's from Australia, but she lives in New Zealand, I think. I could literally watch her all day, every day without stopping. She's like the me on a girly day, like summer me style. And then Jamie Genevieve, who is of course the Scottish influencer, she's like me on a night out, like bad bitch, big smoky eye, huge amount of bronzer and highlighter kind of person. But same with her, I think she has got the same lifestyle as what I love. So Shannon's like my summer self and Jamie's like my winter self. So I would love the house with the dogs, the big garden, husband, just like a big makeup studio, no kids. And then Shannon is the, I want to live in a nice hot country, I want to have a beach house, yes, I want to have the makeup studio, but I want to have my own brand. I suppose Jamie's got her own now as well, and she just sits and does like girly makeup. Like, if I could just combine both of those, like have a house here, have a holiday house, have my own brand and run a YouTube world, that is the ideal life, essentially. So overall makeup inspirations, Shannon and Jamie. Mash them together, that's me. The favourite look that I've ever done. So there's probably 2 favourite looks that I've ever done, and one, I think I captioned it something about honey, and put like a little bee emoji next to it, and it was just like a halo smoky eye with like the most gold, and it was done with the Pure and Raw Beauty Christie palette on the neutral side. That is just my vibes through and through, all day every day. And then the other one, which is me kind of a bit more daring, which is what my fiance loves to see on me, is a big pink eye. There's one on there where it's literally just like full neon pink with a pink glitter. That for me was just me feeling myself between a dark golden smoky eye and a neon pink glitter. Between those two completely fucking, like, couldn't be more opposite looks, but that's my 2 favourite looks. I couldn't pick between them, to be honest. Common makeup mistakes that I'm going to say that I make. I bake my under eyes, which are already extremely dry. I haven't today, and my makeup, so I didn't bake at all my makeup today. I really just lightly set it with powder. It's lasted the best it has all year. So I'm like, okay, I will take a hint from my skin and stop baking everything. Sometimes I bring like my bronzer too far down. Contour, I can't contour to save my life. My face is too round. There's no like cheek definition whatsoever for me to be able to contour. So that's just like a big mistake for me. I tried it a million times, couldn't do it, just stopped doing it. But I don't really think I make mistakes. I think there's no real mistakes within makeup. You just kind of, like, everyone has their own style and their own preferences. If you want to put bronzer right the way down, put bronzer right the way down. It's no one else's decision but your own. Simple as that. My best makeup tip, the only one I've really got that I don't hear people really talk about too much. I mean, you can be like, oh, like, take your mascara off with a Q-tip when it, like, you dot it. But mine would generally be, when you're doing your base makeup, put your primer on, put your foundation on, put your concealer on, leave it. I tend to put mine on, stop, walk away, go do something else, and then return to it. I let it sink into fine lines, and let it just settle into my face, because I tend to find that my face will swallow up a little bit of that product, and I might need to put another little bit of concealer on just to cover up anything like that. So yeah, I just think put your foundation, your base makeup on, and then walk away before you powder, because then also there's a lot of times when I think, okay, like, just pack the powder on, and I don't really need to do that. My makeup organisation, I will do a video on that at some point. I generally have like IKEA drawers like these ones, just the really tall ones with the mirror on the top. I've got that, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers. 4 drawers within those 6 filled with makeup to the point where I'm going to have to start looking at empty another drawer. 1 drawer is just filled with like toiletries, bits and pieces, and then one's all my hair stuff. So I'm going to have to quickly find an alternative to those drawers maybe. My collection is massively grown. I think I've had to redo my palette drawer, which is one of the deeper ones, about 3 times this year. So it's generally every month at this point I have to go back through and reorganise those palettes to where they'll suit and they'll fit in the drawer. But let me know if you want a video on my makeup organisation. I don't have the biggest collection, but it's a large collection for personal use. Bearing in mind, I don't have clients, I don't have makeup sent to me. I buy absolutely everything that's in those drawers. But let me know if you want a video on that, and I can absolutely do that. Thoughts on primer. Pre-Colourpop Pretty Fresh, I thought primer was still a gimmick, despite a lot of people actually saying like primers now are formulated a lot better than what they were kind of when they first really came out into the spotlight, I would say. I think primers were just a little bit like one brand would have one primer. We started, it might have actually been Makeup Forever, funny enough, who came out, I think it was about 8 different primers, and it was like an 8-step like mattifying, like one for redness, oil control, acne, age defying, and it was about 8 in this collection. And I feel like that was the point. The primers started to step up and we really got to see what they could actually do for us. I currently only have the Colourpop Pretty Fresh primer. It's the only one I've tried within probably the last 3 years, if I'm completely honest. I always just used a setting spray or some kind of skin spray before I put my makeup on, and that always did me. Now I'm getting older, my skin isn't as easy to work with as it once was, and with this whole new craze of hyaluronic acid being and things, and that primer having hyaluronic acid in it, I wanted to try it out. I thought, okay, I've got hyaluronic acid in my skincare drawer. This is one from Boots, and it's literally just hyaluronic acid in this. There's no other ingredients, it's just as it is. I've started using that. It started to really help my skin out, and so I went and got the primer, and that now really helps my skin out as well. And then last one actually is, how do you clean your brushes? So my brushes and sponges, I clean both the exact same. I basically fill my sink up with warm water, just a normal basin, bathroom basin, and I use as natural as I can get and as scent free as I can get blocks of soap, so an actual bar soap, and I do everything on that, between dip it in the soap, get it on my hand, rinse it off in the water. I'll refill the sink a good few times whilst I'm washing the brushes, and then I'll put them in like a little plastic caddy. So when I'm finished with the brush, I put it in this plastic caddy, and then take that to the bathroom, empty the brushes out, clean them, clean the caddy, put all the brushes back into that, and then they're all put on a towel overnight to dry. I do that with everything. Sponge the same, I just really rub it into the soap and just squeeze it out until the water runs clear. That I find doesn't dry my brushes out, it doesn't leave a scent, because I don't particularly enjoy a scent on my brushes. It keeps them nice and moisturised, they don't go like rough or anything, they don't split, the hairs don't fall out, and they don't get too wet to the point where the glue starts to deteriorate. So I don't use any expensive brush cleaners, you could say. I don't use any brush cleaner. I still think that they are a bit of a gimmick. I think all you need to do is clean the actual product off, have them sanitised, which soap will do both of those things. You get an antibacterial one like I use. That will pretty much do the trick. I feel as though most makeup brush cleansers will just have a little bit of oil in them, just to kind of loosen and break the product up a bit better, which is all well and good, but I feel like soap does just as much of a good job. But I think that is everything. That was all the questions that were asked, plus a little bit about me at the start. If anybody would like to know any more, please feel free to send me any messages on Instagram or comment in this video again if you've got any questions, or if you kind of want me to expand on anything, I certainly can. I can do that. I did a couple of videos ago have a request to read a book. Now I'm not going to obviously do the full book, it's a children's book. It's called Commotion in the Ocean. It's by Giles Andre. I've managed to find, without buying it, because I refuse to pay like £5 for a children's book when I don't have children. So I'm just going to read one page from it. I'm guessing that they've asked us to read this because of my accent. Because when I read through it myself in my own accent, I was like, that's cringe-worthy. But let's do it anyway. So there's a curious commotion at the bottom of the ocean. I think we ought to go and take a look. You'll find every sort of creature that lives beneath the sea swimming through the pages of this book. There are dolphins, whales and penguins, there are jellyfish and sharks, there's a turtle and the big white polar bear. But you can see behind the wrecks and in between the rocks. Let's see if we can find who's hiding there. So crab. The crab likes walking sideways, and I think the reason why is to make himself look sneaky and pretend that he's a spy. Turtles. We crawl up the beach from water to bury our eggs on dry land. We lay a whole batch, and then when they hatch, they scamper about in the sand. That's all I'm doing, so that's actually 2 pages of it. I'm guessing that's about my accent, but on the photo on it, all the little turtles have just got pitter-patter on their feet, and it's just immediately brought a TikTok to my head. It's just like my heart's going pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Honestly, I feel sick, like I'm going to throw up. That is basically, in a day, how many times I must say that, listen to that and watch how many videos on it. Just the pitter-patter, pitter-patter. People who come up with these stupid sounds are just absolute genius. But that, I'm going to end it there because this is just going on and it's getting ridiculous now. So I'll end this video here. Please let me know if there's anything else that you want to see or hear by any chance. But just let me know, pop it in the comments. I'm always replying, always keep it up with everyone, and send me a little follow on Instagram. Like, comment on this video if you have enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up to date with the more content coming through. I still update on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so keep an eye out for them. I do also post on my Instagram when I'm going to upload and do a time, a countdown on it. So stay updated, and you're very welcome to come back for more. But bye bye for now, guys. Bye.